Welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Diana. Have you ever wondered if you will overcome this? Stuck. Most of us strongly dislike being stuck. When our car is stuck, spinning its wheels but going nowhere, that's hard. And when our life is stuck and we're spinning our wheels but going nowhere, that's hard. Have you ever noticed when things seem stuck, we start to doubt that there is any hope for the future? We start to think we will never overcome this breakup, this financial struggle, this health crisis, this frustration at work. We start to think that the future is dim, that this is never changing. We'll be in this season or this hard or this reality forever. That's a painful, hard, and weary place to be, isn't it? Well, listen to what Galatians 6:9 says. It says this. It says, "Let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Now, I know when you are in the midst of pain, challenge, and circumstances that are out of your control, that today's verse can seem too simple or too good to be true. I hear you, but hang with me. Let's look at it. It's saying that in God's proper time, that God's harvest will come. Today's verse is saying that the hope of faith, the practices of faith, the belief of faith, it is valuable and it is growing something for the future, even if we aren't quite sure what it's growing yet. So how things are now today is not how they will always be as a follower of Jesus. That as followers of Jesus, life is always present with hope. Why? Well, because of Jesus and what he already did and what he is yet to do. Sometimes when hope for your own life is hard to hold on to, we can turn our attention to a few different places. First, sometimes when that's happening in my life, I'll read through the story in the Bible of someone like Ruth or Joseph. And as I read, I slow down to notice the timelines, to remember that they were normal people, just like you and me. And they did not already know what the day ahead would bring. Imagine this with me. Joseph, he was put in a pit by his brother one day. And imagine that when the caravan came by and they took him as a slave, what must he have been thinking? He did not know that one day he'd be the advisor to the king. He did not know that one day far off in the future, he'd see that very family again that abandoned him and discarded him, and he'd have a restored relationship with them. No. He was in that moment, in the pit, in the pain, in the confusion, being taken captive by the caravan. And as I read these stories, what I do is I start to notice God's faithfulness unfolding in the story, even in the most unlikely situations. And I remember that hope is always ahead. Another second thing that I do is other times I'll come back to the Gospels or to the book of Romans, and I will read about the life of Jesus, about what he accomplished and what he promised. I'll read the promises of God, and as I read them, I start to pray, and I ask God to persuade me again about the hope in the gospel. I tell him I need his hope. I need his help to have hope. So try one of these things today. Hope is ahead because God is growing his harvest. Let's hold on to hope together. We'll see you next time.